Hey guys, Maurice here. So for this video we're going to be looking at how to read and write to files as well as using random numbers. So let's go ahead and start there. To begin with, we're going to have to add a couple other libraries to make sure we can do everything we need to do today. So let's also add pound include fstream. Now this is a library that allows us to gain access to the functions to actually read and write files, so we need to add that. Then we do pound include stdlib. That gives us access to the random generator function. And then we need one more, which is just time. And that gives us access to the time function. So let's start by writing out to a file. So the function is ofstream. And then you can name it whatever you want. I always name it output file. That way it's just clarity, I know what I'm working with. So then we do output file dot open, and right here between the parentheses is where you put the name of the file. So let's do file test.txt. Now a quick thing to remember about ofstream is that if this file does not exist, it'll automatically create a brand new file for you that is empty. Now if the file does exist, it will find that file, open it, and delete all current information in it. And obviously there's ways to open the file, keep the information, then you just put all the new information at the end. But for right now I just want this to be an introduction to reading and write files, so I'll focus that on a later file video that's more advanced. So this will create us a file called file test.txt. It'll be blank. Then let's do our random numbers. So for this we do srand, that's the name of the function, parentheses, and then here we do time, that's our time function, parentheses. Then in here we just put null. So what this is saying, we have our srand function which will calculate our random numbers for you, which is actually pseudo-random, it's not completely random. And then we seed it with time, and the reason we seed it with time is because time is constantly moving, so it's giving it a new number every time. So it helps it become more random in this case. Okay, so let's just write out to our file now. So to write out is just similar to cout, except in doing cout, we do the name of our file object, which is output file in this case. Let's do output file, arrow, arrow, just like cout. Let's do srand. Oh, actually just do rand, I apologize for that. Rand, your parentheses, and you don't need to do anything inside the parentheses. Then we'll do an end line, and let's do that 2 more times. That way we get 3 different numbers we can look at. Okay, so let's go ahead and run this first part. So nothing printed to the console, which is fine. We didn't do cout, so we didn't intend anything to print. So we could just close that. A file's been updated, so we hit yes. So let's do file, open, file. And inside our directory we see it created a file for us called file test. And that's what we named it right here, so that's perfect. We open it, and we see it generated 3 random numbers for us, so that's great. So now let's actually read from that file and print it to the console. So let's give us a little space, and now instead of it being ofstream, it's actually ifstream. And let's call this input file. Oops, went a little too quick there. Input file, there we go. And we do the same thing, input file dot open, and the name of our file is file test.txt. Now something I need to make sure you understand about ifstream is that if this file name does not exist, you'll get an error. It does not create a file automatically for you to read from. It needs the file to pre-exist and have information in it for you to read from. So you need to make sure you remember that, otherwise you'll just get an error, but it's a very easy recognizable error, so I'm sure you'll catch it quickly. So we have 3 variables in there, so let's create 3 integers just to hold them. So we do int num1, num2, and num3. So there we go, I made 3 integer variables, and now let's read them just as if we were doing cin. So we do input file, arrows go the other way, num1, num2, and num3 finishes off. So there we go, we just read from our file, and now let's actually print it out to the console screen. So to print to the console screen, just cout, arrow, arrow, and let's do num1, that's the name of our variable, and let's give it a space, then num2, same thing with the space, and finally num3. Then we'll just do an end line right there, and let's run this. So we hit yes. So there's our console window. So let's go ahead and look at our file. Hit yes. Our file just updated, and as you can see, all three numbers match. So there you go, guys. That's how you read and write from files for an introduction and generate random numbers. And remember, when it comes to a computer, it's really not random, it's pseudo-random, and the best seed you can use is time. As always, thanks for watching, guys. Have a good day.